Good evening, and welcome to the Way of Salvation Christian Church presents the one-year Chronological Bible 365-day reading plan brought to you by Tyndale House Publishers. I am Minister Jewett Peterson Sr., and today is September 8th, 2023, which is the 6th day. And today we'll be continuing day 37. Earlier I had to get to T-Mobile before 8 o'clock. I was trying to do it, but with the parallel Bible, if I showed you in that last video that the way it reads is this is verse 17, this is chapter 17, and the way you read it, this is the NLT King James, NLT, King James, NLT. So it's read like this: King James, and you don't go here, you come over to this page, King James. Same thing with NLT. You read this column for NLT, then go over to this column for NLT. But what I did in the last video was I was reading NLT. When I got down here, instead of going over here, I started in this column and I started reading this column. Well, I only got to about right here that I could tell that the reading was different, and I noticed that I said, hey, I was in the wrong column. But I said, so I closed that video and started this one. So we're going to continue with day 37. And instead of reading verse 16, we're going to keep that video. We're going to start from chapter 17, chapter 18, and chapter 19 of Exodus. But in this video, since I've already made it to T-Mobile, I got the SIM card. I'm not sure if the internet still not working. Cancel Comcast, and now my T-Mobile don't work. We're not going to worry about that. We're going to think about Jesus is coming again. The return of Jesus. When I was at T-Mobile, it just been getting kind of bad service. And my discernment is saying, people really don't respect older people. Or I can't say doesn't respect, but it's a stigma of older person. I'm almost 50 now, and I remember when I was 21, 22, and how I felt about 50-year-olds. Like if one of my friends, 21, 22, when I was that young, was like, I'm dating a 50-year-old man. It's like, oh, 50-year-old man. It's like, it could be your granddad, you know what I mean? Or your parents, you know what I mean? So it's like, I remember how 50 was, and I'm only 48, but I remember how 50 was. And I was thinking that I didn't think at 20 about 50 as if I was going to be 50 one day. You know what I'm saying? It was like, it ain't going to happen to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't I'm gonna be there one day. So how I treat the 50 or how I look at the 50, I should keep in mind that it's gonna be me and how the coming uppers are gonna look at me. But I didn't. 50 was old when I was young. And I thought about, that's how people look at Jesus coming. We know he's coming, but we don't live like it. Like when I was young, I knew I was going to get 50, but I didn't live like it. I didn't assess or change my internal feelings about 50 when I was 20. And that's how it's going to be in the last day. It's going to be, we know the terrors. We know the pain, the agony, the hardship. We know all of these things that's coming. But it's like we don't take it serious, or we can't flick in our mind that maybe we should change today for a better tomorrow. Maybe we should change today so our outcome in the Lord's day will be different. Maybe we should change today so when those terrors of tomorrow come, of Jesus' return, they won't affect us. That we'll have peace in that storm because of who we are aligned with. But it's not that serious. It's not that serious to stop sinning, to stop this, to stop that, because right now we're not experiencing that today. But when that day comes, then everyone's going, I want to change. I repent. I'm sorry. They're going to let the mountains fall on me. I'd rather die than to live through the agony of those days. And God said that he had to shorten those days because of the very elect. So that's how bad it's going to be, that he couldn't even let it all play out long because we wouldn't be able to bear it. So it seems like that would be motivation enough to stop sinning, but it's not, because I don't know the words to express it. But whatever it is that a 17, 15-year-old can look at a 50-year-old person and look at them with, I don't need to treat them the same as I would have to treat somebody who's 21, 22. You know what I'm saying? And nothing happened. Like I said, nothing happened, but I could feel it. I could feel it. And I was thinking about, somebody was saying they could tell by your birthday, like when creditors and this and that, they tell by your birthday. They know where you are. Today, you should be born in 20th century. So if you were born in 2000, you're 23, 24. You know, you're 23 years old. Aaliyah died at 22. So that's just to let you know how much someone can accomplish in 22 years. Young Pop Smoke died at 19. You know what I mean? So you can accomplish a lot. Tupac was 25, you know, when he got killed. But there's a lot you can accomplish in that amount of time. And if your birthday is the 90s, they know you're 30. The 80s, okay, you're getting a little older now. You know, you're up in your 30s, getting close to 40s. But the 70s, 50s, you know what I'm saying? We don't even get into the 60s and 40s, you know what I'm saying? 60s, 50s, and 40s. But I just want to just draw a comparison between young and old people, how young people view old people, and they're not looking at it as if I'm going to be there one day. They're looking at old people as far as how to treat them, you know, when it comes to customer service as well, and how people, the majority of people, look at how they're living today and when Jesus' return. It's not, Jesus' return isn't real enough, or is it happening, or is it felt enough to stop us from sinning, even though we know the terror of it. And as a young person, as far as how they feel or treat an older person, because I seen a guy, this is what kind of did it. Seen a guy on Facebook, he was like, some old guy got his DM what he wanted to do to him, and he was like, I know this is male on male, so it's really not Bible, but it's just the way he was like, I don't want nothing with you, P-Paul or something. And he was just blazing an older guy, like the older guy is nothing. Like he's a relic, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't want nothing to do with the old guy. Like, you're going to know you're going to be old one day. And that's how they're going to look at you. But it just kind of drew a comparison, because I remember, even with young girls, stuff like that, how it was. So it's like that comparison is a comparison. So today, our song will be page 213 of the Seventh-day Adventist Hymnal. Jesus is coming again. And believe it or not, I got these Seventh-day Adventist hymnals off Amazon. I might have ordered them from ABC. You know what? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But anyway, Jesus is coming again. Pages 213. Lift up the trumpet and loud let it ring. Jesus is coming again. Cheer up, ye pilgrims, be joyful and sing. Jesus is coming again. Coming again, coming again. Jesus is coming again. Echo it hilltops, proclaim it ye plains. Jesus is coming again. Coming in glory, the Lamb that was slain. Jesus is coming again. Coming again, coming again. Jesus is coming again. Heavens on earth tell the vast wondering throne, Jesus is coming again. Tempests and whirlwinds and the anthem prolong, Jesus is coming again. Coming again, coming again. Jesus is coming again. Nations are angry, by this we do know. Jesus is coming again. Knowledge increases, men run to and fro. Jesus is coming again. Coming again, coming again. Jesus is coming again. Verse 3. Heavings of earth tell the vast wondering throne, Jesus is coming again. Tempests and whirlwinds, the anthem prolong, Jesus is coming again. Coming again, coming again. Jesus is coming again. Refrain. Coming again, coming again. My Jesus is coming again. Amen. That was 213 of the Seventh-day Adventist Hymnal. And now on to today's reading that we'll be picking up from verse 17 of Exodus. And then we'll do Exodus chapter 18, Exodus chapter 19. So we're starting with Exodus 17 in the New Living Translation. And it reads, Water from the rock. At the Lord's command, the whole community of Israel left the wilderness of Sin and moved from place to place. Eventually, they camped at Rephidim, but there was no water there for the people to drink. So once more, the people complained against Moses. Give us water to drink, they demanded. Quiet, Moses replied. Why are you complaining against me? And why are you testing the Lord? But tormented by thirst, they continued to argue with Moses. Why did you bring us out of Egypt? Are you trying to kill us, our children, and our livestock with thirst? Then Moses cried out to the Lord, What shall I do with these people? They are ready to stone me. The Lord said to Moses, Walk out in front of the people, take your staff, the one you used when you struck the water of the Nile, and call some of the elders of Israel to join you. I will stand before you on the rock at Mount Sinai. Strike the rock, and water will come gushing out. Then the people will be able to drink. So Moses struck the rock as he was told, and water gushed out as the elders looked on. Moses named the place Massa, which means test, and Meribah, which means arguing, because the people of Israel argued with Moses and tested the Lord by saying, Is the Lord here with us or not? Israel defeats the Amalekites. Verse 8, while the people of Israel were still at Rephidim, the warriors of Amalek attacked them. Moses commanded Joshua, choose some men to go out and fight the army of Amalek for us. Tomorrow I will stand at the top of the hill holding the staff of God in my hand. So Joshua did what Moses had commanded and fought the army of Amalek. Meanwhile, Moses, Aaron, and Hur climbed to the top of a nearby hill. As long as Moses held up the staff in his hand, the Israelites had the advantage. But whenever he dropped his hand, the Amalekites gained the advantage. Moses' arms soon became so tired he could no longer hold them up. So Aaron and Hur found a stone for him to sit on. Then they stood on each side of Moses, holding up his hands. So his hands held steady until sunset. As a result, Joshua overwhelmed the army of Amalek in battle. After the victory, the Lord instructed Moses, write this down on the scroll as a permanent reminder and read it aloud to Joshua. I will erase the memory of Amalek from under heaven. Moses built an altar there and named it Yahweh Nisi, which means the Lord is my banner. He said they have raised their fist against the Lord's throne, so now the Lord will be at war with Amalek generation after generation. Jethro's visit to Moses. Moses' father-in-law Jethro, the priest of Midian, heard about everything God had done for Moses and his people, the Israelites. He heard especially about how the Lord had rescued them from Egypt. Earlier, Moses had sent his wife Zipporah and his 2 sons back to Jethro, who had taken them in. Moses' first son name was Gershom, and Moses had said when the boy was born, I have been a foreigner in a strange land, in a foreign land. His second son was named Eleazar, for Moses had said, the God of my ancestors was my helper. He rescued me from the sword of Pharaoh. Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, now came to visit Moses in the wilderness. He brought Moses, his wife, and 2 sons with him, and they arrived while Moses and the people were camped near the mountain of God. Jethro had sent a message to Moses saying, I, Jethro, your father-in-law, am coming to see you with your wife and your 2 sons. So Moses went out to meet his father-in-law. He bowed low and kissed him. They asked about each other's welfare and then went into Moses' tent. Moses told his father-in-law everything the Lord had done to Pharaoh in Egypt on behalf of Israel. He also told about all the hardships they had experienced along the way and how the Lord had rescued his people from all their troubles. Jethro was delighted when he heard about all the good things the Lord had done for Israel as he rescued them from the hands of the Egyptians. Praise the Lord, Jethro said, for he has rescued you from the Egyptians and from Pharaoh. Yes, he has rescued Israel from the powerful hand of Egypt. I know now that the Lord is greater than all other gods because he rescued his people from the oppression of the proud Egyptians. Then Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, brought a burnt offering and sacrifices to God. Aaron and all the elders of Israel came out and joined him in a sacrificial meal in God's presence. Jethro's wise advice. The next day, Moses took his seat to hear the people's disputes against each other. They waited before him from morning till evening. When Moses' father-in-law saw all that Moses was doing for the people, he asked, what are you really accomplishing here? Why are you trying to do all this alone while everyone stands around you from morning till evening? Moses replied, because the people come to me to get a ruling from God. When a dispute arises, they come to me, and I am the one who settles the case between the quarreling parties. I inform the people of God's decrees and give them his instructions. This is not good, Moses' father-in-law exclaimed. You're going to wear yourself out, and the people too. This job is too heavy a burden for you to handle all by yourself. Now listen to me and let me give you a word of advice, and may God be with you. You should continue to be the people's representative before God, bringing their disputes to him. Teach them God's decrees and give them his instructions. Show them how to conduct their lives, but select from all the people some capable, honest men who fear God and hate bribes. Appoint them as leaders over groups of 1,000, 150, and 10. They should always be available to solve the people's common disputes, but have them bring the major cases to you. Let the leaders decide the smaller matters themselves. They will help you carry the load, making the task easier for you. If you follow this advice, and if God commands you to do so, then you will be able to endure the pressures and all the people will go home in peace. Moses listened to his father-in-law's advice and followed his suggestions. He chose capable men from all over Israel and appointed them as leaders over the people. He put them in charge of groups of 1,000, 150, and 10. These men were always available to solve the people's common disputes. They brought the major cases to Moses, but took care of the smaller matters themselves. Soon after this, Moses said goodbye to his father-in-law, who returned to his own land. Exodus chapter 19. The Lord reveals himself at Sinai. Exodus chapter 19, verse 1. Exactly 2 months after the Israelites left Egypt, they arrived in the wilderness of Sinai. After breaking camp at Rephidim, they came to the wilderness of Sinai and set up camp there at the base of Mount Sinai. Then Moses climbed the mountain to appear before God. The Lord called to him from the mountain and said, "Give these instructions to the family of Jacob. Announce it to the descendants of Israel. You have seen what I did to the Egyptians. You know how I carried you on eagle's wings and brought you to myself. Now if you will obey me and keep my covenant, you will be my own special treasure from among all the people on earth. For all the earth belongs to me, and you will be my kingdom of priests, my holy nation. This is the message you must give to the people of Israel." So Moses returned from the mountain and called together the elders of the people and told them everything the Lord had commanded him. And all the people responded together, "We will do everything the Lord has commanded." So Moses brought the people's answer back to the Lord. Then the Lord said to Moses, "I will come to you in a thick cloud, Moses, so the people themselves can hear me when I speak with you. Then they will always trust you." Moses told the Lord what the people had said. Then the Lord told Moses, "Go down and prepare the people for my arrival. Consecrate them today and tomorrow, and have them wash their clothing. Be sure they are ready on the third day, for on that day the Lord will come down on Mount Sinai as all the people watch. Mark off a boundary all around the mountain. Warn the people, be careful, do not go up on the mountain or even touch its boundaries. Anyone who touches the mountain will certainly be put to death. No hand may touch the person or animal that crosses the boundary. Instead, stone them or shoot them with arrows. They must be put to death. However, when the ram's horn sounds a long blast, then the people may go up on the mountain." So Moses went down to the people. He consecrated them for worship, and they washed their clothes. He told them, "Get ready for the third day, and until then, abstain from having sexual intercourse." On the morning of the third day, thunder roared and lightning flashed, and a dense cloud came down on the mountain. There was a long, loud blast from a ram's horn, and all the people trembled. Moses led them out from the camp to meet God, and they stood at the foot of the mountain. All of Mount Sinai was covered with smoke because the Lord had descended on it in the form of fire. The smoke billowed into the sky like smoke from a brick kiln, and the whole mountain shook violently. As the blast of the ram's horn grew louder and louder, Moses spoke, and God thundered his reply. The Lord came down on the top of Mount Sinai and called Moses to the top of the mountain. So Moses climbed the mountain. Then the Lord told Moses, "Go back down and warn the people not to break through the boundaries to see the Lord, or they will die. Even the priests who regularly come near to the Lord must purify themselves, that the Lord does not break out and destroy them. But Lord, Moses protested, the people cannot come up to Mount Sinai. You already warned us. You told me, mark off a boundary all around the mountain to set it apart as holy. But the Lord said, go down and bring Aaron back up with you. In the meantime, do not let the priests or the people break through to approach the Lord, or he will break out and destroy them. So Moses went down to the people and told them what the Lord had said. May the Lord have a rich blessing to the reading, hearing, and doing of his holy word. Thank you for joining me. Catch you next time.